Hello guys, and welcome back to the another class of our course about Python. In previous class we talk about list, we talk about list functions and everything. And in today's topic we still bit same. Well, we are going to talk about difference between list and in this case tuples. So to understand what is the difference between normal list and tuple. So I will simply write down a list right here. So let's say we are creating a list of colors. So in this case, we will write down list equal to, let's say, write down red, then write down yellow and blue. Alright, so we have our three colors, and what we can do with this list, just print here and make it run. So our print list. Alright, so if you run our app, as you can see, it works perfectly. We can do many things. Let's say for example, if we want to insert something, we can insert. So we can write down list dot insert, and let's say I want to insert something at second position. Let's say I want to consider pink. Alright, if I run my app, as you can see, it works perfectly. But when I tuple, what's the difference between list and tuple? I can play with all this thing in my list, but when I have tuple right here, I can't modify it all. So let's say for example, with list, I can insert new colors, I can delete those colors, I can do many things, but with tuples, I can't modify it, I can't add anything, I can't able to delete anything. Well, tuple is simply a list that you can't modify. You can put tuples into list, but you can't modify tuples themselves. So let me just show you a quick example. So right now, this is our list. So when we want to write tuple, on how we write the tuple, at first we will write it down as the same way as we write list. So we will write, let's say, for example, colors equal to, and we will use those basic parentheses, and we will, let's say, write down our colors. So once again we will write down blue, yellow and red. Alright, so we have all colors. So we write here print function to print colors. So we run our app. So app works perfectly. We have our colors right here. But let's say for example, I want to add something. So in this case, I want to insert. So I will write down my insert function. I want to add something at second place right here. Let's say I want to add black. Alright, I run my app and looks exactly what happens here. So as you can see, I have an error message and it returns right here, tuple object has no attribute insert. So you just can't modify it, you can't use modifications in tuples. And as I explained, you have list of tuples. Let's say you have colors right here. Let's say I have another tuple, in this case shapes. So I will have for example square, I have triangle, and I will have circle. Alright, so I have my shapes and I have my colors. Now let's say I want to create list of those tuples. So in this case I can write down, let's say, list, and what I want to do is simply add colors and shapes. So my list will be colors and shapes. So I just print list right here, and if I run my app, it just print everything. I have my tuple that will blue, yellow, red, and my shapes as well. So as you can see, my list will have the tuples that are here. So I have a list of tuples. So it's possible to create a list of tuples, but it's very important guys to understand that the main difference between tuples and list. Well, what exact moment can you guess when you can only use tuple, not a list? So basically you want to use tuples on things that you will never ever change. So let's say for example you want to look for address of someone. So the address of person will change but it will not necessary in future. Or something even let's say easier, you want to look for the coordinates of the place or let's say the coordinate of certain country or city. Well, you know that those coordinates will never change. So you can store those into tuples. So let's say we want to store one of those in tuple. So in this case, we will write down, let's say for example, city, let's say Paris. So we have Paris coordinate equal and let's say write down coordinates of Paris. Once again, let's say the coordinates of Paris will be 135 and 124. Once again, it's just an example and as you can see, it will never change. Let's say you want to store the IP address of certain device while you will store it in tuple because IP address will not change. So you have thing that you can never want to change that will guys think will never change or you don't want to change it. You store it into tuple and everything that will change so it could be variable we can store those into list. So this is the main difference. So that's it for this class guys. Right now you understand the another type of list which are tuples and you will see it's going to be very useful in Python. So that's it for this class guys. See you all in next class.